Hello Pisces, this is your year ahead reading for 2022. Keep in mind these are general readings, so the messages may or may not resonate. But before we get into the energy of 2022, I want to take a moment to close out 2021. So I'm going to pull a card for what the main focus was for you in 2021. What lessons did you learn in this past year? So this is the fourth house, the house of origins, fundamentals, your roots, your home, your family. So there may have been a lot of experiences and themes with regards to family, with regards to your belief system and structure, the foundation that in which you operate from. So let's pull a card for what challenged you in 2021 and what supported you in 2021. So we have the King of Pentacles and we have the Fool. So for some of you, possibly what might have brought a what might have been a challenge for you, it could have been a father figure, or it could have been a spouse. Since the main energy was about home and family, it could have been a specific relationship to a person. If that's not your case, then what could have challenged you was the belief in yourself to be a capable person. And maybe it's all of the above for some of you. So it's almost like there was a certain set of expectations that you were holding on to yourself, and because you didn't get a specific result, you started to kind of doubt whether or not you were capable at all. And this was kind of based off of you doing the things you thought you should be doing based off of the conditioning that you were brought on up with. Maybe it's your upbringing that gave you this perspective in believing and thinking that things should be done a certain way, or I should be at a certain point in my life. How come I am not? Why? Or I did all of the things I was supposed to do. Why do I not feel fulfilled? Why do I not feel successful? And those kinds of thoughts may have been what was challenging you throughout the year of 2021, whereas the Fool here is what is supporting you. It's basically giving you permission to tread on trail, to blaze a new trail. Because you realized after doing everything that you were supposed to, or what you thought you were supposed to, based off of a set of rules that someone else had taught you, and it wasn't getting you to the happiness and the success that you thought you should be if you followed those rules, you're starting to learn that it doesn't make sense for you. And the reason why is because you're not happy. If it had made sense, then you would be happy. And so what supported you is by taking that journey into figuring out what it is that you want outside of what you were told, right? And so this shift in choosing what it is, focusing on what you want, what feels good for you, is what supported you throughout 2021 and did to a degree bring you the success, or at least the feeling of happiness and the feeling of success. And so now you're kind of learning how to redefine what that trail is and should be for you. So let's pull some cards on what you're working to release in 2021. Okay. So let's get one more. Okay, so we're getting imagination, love, and grief. So this is the grieving of what was. While you may have felt like, living by someone else's rules was constricting for you, there is a level of grief here in that it's a comfort that you had, because in a way we can kind of crutch on the rules that other people have placed on us, because then it takes away responsibility from and accountability from ourselves, where when you're shifting in towards choosing what you want to do, then you're having to take the full weight of that ownership and that responsibility, and you need holding yourself accountable to the choices that you're making. So there is going to be a bit of a grieving process in closing out the energy that others have kind of put on you, in that the comfort of that, because it is a little uncomfortable to blaze your own trail, right? It's scary. So there was a grieving process in that point. And so you're learning how to kind of deconstruct that and become more optimistic in yourself, believing in yourself, and not allowing the beliefs of others to impose on where you want to go. So this is really truly a lesson in learning how to love yourself and honor yourself, and giving yourself permission to go for what you love, and allowing your imagination to take you to that point. Sometimes part of how some of the ways in which our intuition is speaking to us is through creativity, through imagination. And when you allow yourself and give yourself permission to explore that imagination and test it out in the real world, then you're now authentically learning what really truly feels right for you versus what someone else is telling you to do. So let's get another layer of these energies of what you're trying to release. We've got surrender your addictions, surrender to success, and surrender the drama. So very interesting here with imagination. I'm feeling this as more addictive thoughts, like maybe the narratives that we're so used to hearing from that parent figure or authority figure, someone that we used to look up to and respected, that told us X, Y, and Z, this is how you should do things. And so their voice has kind of been a part of your internal dialogue and narrative. And so it's hindering that imagination that you're needing to lean into. So you're learning how to change the inner dialogue you have within yourself and take control of your own narrative. When it comes to love, you're being reminded to surrender to success. So this is really about allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to celebrate the success that you do have, whether it's small or large. Basically, the universe is validating you and saying, hey, you taking these steps forward in the path that you want to take for you. Here's some little sprinkles of validation. So give yourself, maybe it's not, the main goal of what you're working towards that you're seeing, but it's those little milestones, those tiny little milestones that adds up along the way to get you to that main goal. So give yourself permission to celebrate those moments. Because you don't have to wait to feel abundance. You don't have to wait to feel success when you get to a certain point. You can live it now. And by living it now, By accepting it now, by celebrating it now, you're offering yourself and to the universe gratitude for the work that you've put in, and it's now creating this positive loop for you. So when it comes to grief, the guidance here is to surrender the drama. So basically, no matter how emotionally charged the situation is, no matter, whatever thoughts and feelings come up for you in moments of grief, just let them be. You don't need to feed into the fire, whether this is internal dialogue with yourself or with an external person. There's no need to fix anything. You just have to let it be. Because sometimes when we feel like we need to fix the situation or say, I need to speak my piece of it, it doesn't help the situation, because especially if you're dealing with another person, you have no control over how they think and feel. So there's nothing that you can say sometimes that's going to, change their perspective and their mind. So just let it be. That's not your responsibility, and walk away from it, right? And take care of you. And then there's going to be some grieving in that moment, right? Because there's a change in the dynamic, a change in the connection that you have, if this is in regards to a specific person. But it can also be happening to you internally. So at these moments, you just kind of have to allow. And because especially when it's emotionally charged, and so when you allow and give yourself permission, give yourself space to just be in that moment, you're honoring that emotion and then allowing it to subside naturally on its own. And when you do that, then you get to a place of clarity faster, where you now can see the true picture more clearly and vividly to then make better choices. All right, so now Pisces, I'm going to clear this table and pull cards for 2022 for you. So we'll start off again with another house card to see what your main focus will be in 2022. What will be your main, the themes in which life areas, or what, in which will be the underlying theme here for 2022. You are getting the second house, which is your what you value. So for some of you, maybe assets and finances, but I'm feeling more like defining what matters to you, especially after that year that you just had in 2021. So we're gonna pull one card for what is challenging you in 2022 and what is supporting you in 2022. Very interesting. Because what challenged you in what supported you in 2021 is now challenging you in 2022. So what this is telling me is that you're needing to be grounded, and maybe that's why the values, the second house, is in focus right now, is that you're needing to build a new foundation. I think 2021 was all about playing, right? Figuring out what works, what doesn't work, just being in that experimental phase. And now coming into 2022, you don't want to stay in that experimental phase, because then you may kind of get lost and caught up in just and not really having something tangible to stand on, right? And so here with the Empress, along with the second house energy of setting a, identifying what you value, what's important, distilling down take a look at what you've learned in 2021 and distill it down to its common to the main themes, to the core, right? And see, you know, compare and contrast what worked and what doesn't work, and look at the stuff, look at the patterns of what worked, look at the patterns that didn't work, and see the underlying theme of that. And that'll be where the foundation in which you will be building on. That is where you'll learn to discern the value system you're trying to build for yourself. And then you have a clearer direction for where you want to go, right? I hope that makes sense. And I think some of you understand what I'm saying. So you know what I mean, I guess. Here in the Empress as a supportive energy is deep down, you know what success is for you. So as you're identifying what works and what doesn't work, and what's supporting you is that grounded sense of like being led to the answer. And another thing about the Empress as a supportive energy here, it's really, you know, the Empress can kind of represent like, let's say a pregnant woman, right? So there's a gestational cycle in pregnancy. So there's a timing to things, right? So if you're looking at the Fool as like you as a child, as a baby, moving your way through the major arcana life cycle, what's supporting you is time. Whatever seeds you've planted in 2021, maybe even in 2020, there's a part of you maybe that feels like you wish things had happened faster. Maybe you wanted results faster, but you were in this test phase. You were in this play phase for a reason, to kind of see what works, what doesn't work, so you can adjust course. So the supportive energy of time is on your side, where things are slow because they're developing at a slow pace for a reason, to give you the space that you need to to define, redefine, adjust, pivot, whatever you need to do to get to this success that you're trying to build towards. So Pisces, if this resonated for you, there is an extended where we take a deeper look into this energy and explore how they may influence aspects of your life and peek into the energy of each month of the year. So if you'd like to continue on to the extended, the link to access it is in the description box below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get notified when new readings are posted. Wishing you all the best and a prosperous new year, Pisces.